My name is Victoria Harvey and I'm 27 years old. So on a typical day, I am a 27-year-old that cannot get myself up in the morning. So I normally wake up, I should wake up at 7, I normally wake up at 8:15, jump in the shower and go out the house. I don't eat breakfast in the morning because I'm just so unorganised. Um, I work at the Calanais Visitor Centre, so that is in the Isle of Lewis, in their Hebrides, and it's a total dream job. I work in project management in tourism, and my role there, I've messed up already, I'm really sorry. Yeah, I'll just keep going. So yes, I work in project management, and I've been in that role for a year. Um, in the morning, it takes me about 30-40 minutes to drive to work. Although it does feel like an annoying commute, it's nothing compared to what I would have been going through when I was living here. I was very much, you'll never see people on the road now in the Isle of Lewis, but there's also plenty of sheep, so it's very good. So it takes me about 30 to 40 minutes in the morning, and then after that, I get started for the day. So my job involves me planning or developing a visitor centre extension for the Calanais Standing Stones. I work in a team of 2 people, and we are specialising in constructing basically a new visitor centre. It's a £5 million project overall, and we are trying to address capacity issues but actually interpret these iconic standing stones much better, and the landscape that surrounds it. So yes, I've been in that job for a year, and that's how my typical week is built up doing this job. I work from Monday to Friday 9 to 5, and yeah, and it's always very busy and always very varied. So after a typical morning, I have to clear up my inbox, try and climb my way through it, and then get started for the day. So, for example, at the moment, I'm doing community consultation, so that we can understand what our community needs this visitor centre to look like. So a lot of it's been writing surveys, speaking to people. So a lot of it is speaking to local businesses, speaking to local people, and stakeholders and things like that, and getting an understanding of what they need. So that normally takes up most of my day, but I try and get all that done in the morning, and then try and go for a nice settled lunch about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And this is finally where I'll eat for the day, so that's always always very welcome. So I'm on a very unfun diet just now, where I've cut out sugar and carbohydrates. And so a typical day for me is eating a lot of vegetables and a tiny wee bit of meat, and it's just very sad. However, lunch is lunch and it's very good. Um, and yeah, so once that's done, I go back to work afterwards. I work in an office with 2 other organisations, so we all kind of sit together, have quite a nice day, and we all catch up. We all work in economic development within our area and community development. So it's actually a really nice kind of networking situation where we can actually talk through what we're up to, socialise, because it is quite a small team I work in. So actually having other people to speak to is really nice. And yes, that's a typical lunch for me. After that, I try and find something else to do in the afternoon. So it kind of varies quite a lot, just due to the fact that it is project management, it does change all the time. So I try and schedule in about 15 minutes every day for social media. So I run all the marketing accounts for the Calanais Visitor Centre, and just getting a kind of making sure that we've got a really good engaged audience, and it's just making sure they've got a bit of a feel for what's going on in Calanais, and especially around updating them on our really exciting project as well. So in the evening after that, in the afternoon, sorry, it's normally, yeah, again, a total mix of things. So I think what else. So maybe it's scheduling meetings, going to meetings. Trying to think what else I got up to now. Yeah, so just a lot of stuff. A lot of it is developing things. So recently as well, I've been writing an education strategy. So a lot of that's been again consultation, and then actually putting it into action so that we can have a visitor centre that delivers learning for the Isle of Lewis. Yeah, so it's a really interesting day. Some typical days as well involve commuting to Stornoway, which is where I live, and yeah, and having a lot of meetings there. It is very much a kind of town where everyone works and lives, and then living and working in the outskirts is actually quite difficult. You do end up commuting quite a lot. So yeah, so that's a typical day for me. It takes me right up to 5 o'clock. Often it takes me to 6, 7, but it's absolutely worth it. And then yeah, I continue back home for the day. So on a really sunny day, we've had some really gorgeous weather recently in the Hebrides, and it's been absolutely lovely. So what we've managed to do is I work our office is 5 minutes away from from this really stunning beach called Dalbeg, and it's really nice to kind of climb the cliff there and stand it after work, and it kind of chills you out a wee bit. So it's one of the most like compelling reasons for moving to the Outer Hebrides from Cumbernauld, is that on my way home I kind of nip in and do beachy things on the way home from work. So that is a typical sunny day for me. I'll go for a walk afterwards and then jump back in the car and then head home. So that's another 30 minutes to get back home again. And then in the evening, I live in Stornoway. I live in a house share with 8 other people, so it's very cost effective and very, very busy. So it's not the dream situation, but it's the one I'm in. And yes, so a typical day is kind of starting cooking. Again, difficult to do when you live in a house with so many people. And I make a lovely dinner with no carbs and no sugar. Again, very sad. And then just eat and then retreat to my room for the evening. Depending on what I get up to afterwards, sometimes I don't make it back into my bedroom for the day until about 9 o'clock at night. Loads of people come in and we all chat together as well, so it's it does take a lot of time. So that's that. And then come back and just try and tidy up a wee bit. I'm a very messy individual. And yeah, just watch a wee bit of TV. We are unfortunately in the height of summer, and I'm really addicted to Love Island. So that's been a really big part of my weekly routine at the moment. I think although it's very trashy TV, it's very, very trashy, it's made to be addictive, and I think I'm definitely addicted. So that's been really good. It's added a lot of structure to my life as well. But if I'm not doing that, probably I love a good like true crime documentary, so that probably takes up a lot of time. I've got a really lovely speaker in my room, so listen to podcasts and things as well. And yes, that's a typical day. And then I try and go to bed at 11. I'll probably stay up till 1:30, and then curse myself the next morning for being really tired. So that is a typical day for me.